Oh, yes, it's so good to be back. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Stretch It Out podcast.
We didn't even do like a mic check on me or nothing, so let's hope this works.
I can hear you.
Yeah, okay.
So I think we're good.
We did.
Yes, it feels so good here. I'm just getting comfortable. I'm just getting cozy. You know, I'm just trying to.
I mean, I'm
making sure everything's in the same spot, right? Like I'm back in podcast land. Here we go.
We had to
Definitely
do another.
Still magical.
We had to do another. Dust it off again.
Yes.
Sadly.
Dust off the microphone.
Well, we tried to do a really cool video for you guys because I was going to put it up on the Instagram and the Facebook.
Mission failed.
Yes. So just
Mission
for everybody.
failed. Turn your mic up a little bit.
Oh, you can't hear me?
We're doing a real-time sound check because
we are. Maybe can I just move it
you
closer
sound
to me?
super far away. That's all.
Boo!
Okay, we're peaking. You might have just caused an accident if someone was listening to us while they were driving. I'm just kidding. I can. Yeah.
That's the noise I make for sound check, guys.
Oh gosh, it's like cutting out. Like you're going and then like cutting out, coming in. Like almost like the connection is weird, but it's fine. It's fine. It's all good.
In this episode of Charades, well, like I was saying, hopefully you can hear me. That Nick and I
hear
were
you fine.
Oh, okay, sweet. Nick and I were trying. We were actually FaceTiming. Well, okay, hold on. Let me back this up. Let me tell you the struggle of getting into Podcastland once again because of me. So,
well, it wasn't necessary. It wasn't all your fault, right? I mean, yes, you could have prepared you had like a month since the last time we've been here, but I wasn't gonna say anything.
You weren't gonna call me out, but now you did, so that's cool.
Yeah, which means I planned on it, so I just lied. Because I actually was.
So today, Nick and I have been trying to get into Podcastland all week, but life gets the best of us sometimes. So
it does. He
texted me this morning. Oh yeah, and last night, I made myself a homemade latte. Right, I got an espresso machine here. Made a homemade latte.
Fancy.
I have not had coffee in so long, especially good espresso. I've not had good espresso in so long that I did not go to bed until 5 a.m. this morning.
That's gnarly.
Doing nothing.
I don't know how you do that.
Doing simply, literally, my eyes were closed. I was trying to fall asleep and I just couldn't. So then, of course, I went and played solitaire. And so anywho, that's why when you texted me this morning, I was out. But then I woke up later on and I had to do some adulting and some errands and stuff.
Right. I'm familiar. I have to do that every once in a while.
So when I got home, texted Nick and said, okay, let me scarf down some food because I hadn't eaten anything all day. Scarf down some food, and then I was going to be ready to go. But then Marcelo called me, and Marcelo is the boyfriend, and he is out in Idaho. He's been out there for about, 16, 17 days now? So pray for Idaho.
What's he doing out there?
Like half the state of Idaho is on fire, guys.
Yep.
So you want to check that up? It's called the Westwood Fire, I believe.
So he's out there fighting those fires, and that is a grind, constant. Yeah. These guys are tired, tired.
He ran into wolves the other night.
Oh, that's not scary.
Yeah, and he's the night shift, And he texted me. He was like, "This is this is a crazy fire and all this stuff." And he goes, "We encountered a pack of wolves."
Oh wow.
And it's all through text.
That's crazy. You don't even think about that. You don't. Okay, that didn't even cross my mind. I haven't even thought about the wildlife that they're having to deal with out there. You just think like, man, it's just a lot of work. They're just trying to stop this fire, and they're swinging pickaxes, and I think that's because of the images that I'm seeing. But you don't even think about that.
Have you seen the video? Oh, sorry, I'm getting into podcast land again. The dogs are on.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear you. You broke up real bad.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
And there's the dogs again. So
Hey, they just want to be. They want to be in Podcastland. Just let them hang out. It's not a big deal.
it's like
Ain't nobody mad, bro. Ain't nobody mad.
they're like, let me get 10 minutes on the mic. So yes, you encounter.
We do gotta check that internet connection though. I'm having a hard time hearing you. Maybe it's my connection. Am I cutting out on your end?
No, you're perfect on my end.
Because just coming through from your side, it sounds like I don't know. It's weird. Just keeps cutting out.
Just bad.
Yeah, well, it's fine right now. Fine right now.
Okay, well then let's continue on with the episode, shall we? Story time. So anywho, after I scarfed my food down, and I was literally getting ready to run upstairs and call Nick and say, let's get into Podcastland. And Marcelo calls, which I got to take the call because I don't get to talk to him that often, you know? So then there was that. So I was like, okay, that's a small, tiny hiccup before Podcastland. I'm like, that's fine. So then I start grabbing all my stuff, trying to go upstairs. And I had I love these things. You guys can talk smack on them all you want. But LaCroix? Is that how you say it? LaCroix?
Yeah, I like them. Carbonated waters.
So good. So I was like, let me get one of those instead of making myself a latte to kind of get some energy because it's fizzy and wakes me up a little. I drop it on the tile floor.
Oh, no.
And it's totally dented up, like right where the mouthpiece was. But I'm like, it's okay. It could have been worse. It could have exploded, but it didn't. Small hiccup. So then I go upstairs and I'm trying to rush to get the microphone hooked up and everything. And I'm texting Nick. And I can hear Rio, which is Marcelo's, he has the English Bulldog. You guys are going to see a photo because I'm going to post him up on the IG. And he was trying to go up the stairs too fast, and they're wooden stairs. He slid down them. So,
poor guy.
Like, all of this was happening within, like, a matter of 5 minutes. Like, everything. Just so that you could tell he wanted to come upstairs, but then he got scared of the stairs. So I had to, like, I had to go behind him and kind of like push his butt to let him know, like, hey, if you slide, I'm right here. Finally got him in the room. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. And my mic was not working on my computer. This is the stuff that happens all the time trying to go into podcast land for me, guys. It's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
But I like
it. It's a struggle.
I mean, I don't like the struggle, but I like finally, it makes it even more rewarding getting into podcast land.
Yeah, it's nice to like show up even though you're like glimmering from the sweat.
Yeah.
But I like that. That's the right perspective, right? Like it's worth the grind to get here.
And we made it happen. Honestly, I thought you were going to be like, you know what? Let's just do it a different time. And I was like, no, we have to do it today. It's got to happen now.
It's been so long and it's so hard. It's hard. It really is. It is hard to set aside a block of time to do the things that you love. It is not easy, but it is worth it.
Yeah.
It is worth it when you can. And I love the fact that we're doing this for us, right? We enjoy it. And of course we love, the folks that do tune in. But we're not doing it because, we need everybody else's approval, right? Which I like. I like that we're doing it because we love it and we're passionate about it. But if we were on a timeline of some kind, could you imagine how much more difficult it would be? Like if we were supposed to on a schedule, how hard that is. I mean, people do it, right? And they do a bang up job, right? You met Keenan and he knocks it out of the park, what he does, it's incredible. But I like the fact that we don't have that pressure, and it's just fun and I get to keep it fun. Right. And we get to just have a good time and we can get back to it whenever we need to get back to it. And actually I really like, I might've shared this before. It was Gary Vaynerchuk that said this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was him. And I get my quotes mixed up sometimes, but if you're doing it for yourself, if you're doing it for other people, then, you have to get it done like now. But if you're doing it for yourself, you have your whole life. And that's how I feel about this.
Yeah.
If you're doing it for you, it's not like, oh my gosh, I have to rush because you're doing it for you, right? So that's how I am with my rookie RC. That's how I am with, everything RC. I love it. I love it a lot. But I don't have to do it all this year. I don't have to do it all before I turn 40 or before I turn 50, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing it because I enjoy it. So I don't have to rush to get it to do it all. And I feel kind of the same way with the podcast. I think that it's, of course, like we talked, I want to make sure we're back on the 1 a week wagon, right? But when things happen, right, we can do what we got to do. But
like it's not adding on to like our everyday stress. It's
still a source. Yeah, it's still a source of joy, right? Because we're doing it for us, right? So, but at the same time, I could see how it is tough, right? Like when you do stuff that you love, you're always still going to there's always going to be that grind. The grind's always going to be there, but that's what makes life worth living is the grind. Without that, it's just not the same. Like you said, going through the grind and the struggle to get into Podcastland, sometimes it's a little rough, right?
I feel like
but we found stuff to talk about for 30 minutes. How long was it? 45 minutes we waited.
So. I didn't tell them, but so once I finally got everything hooked up and my mic went dead, I had to restart my computer, and then it had a 45-minute update. So,
and we were talking, and I'm like, okay, where's the update at now? And she'd be like, 17 minutes. Like,
so where's it at now? After that one, 20 minutes now.
Well, yeah. I wanted to tell you something really cool that happened.
What? All ears.
So did I just cut you off?
No.
Okay, good. So
normally you do, but this time you did not.
Awesome. So that's what I was fishing for. A little compliment there. Thank you. It's for recognizing I'm working on myself. So you remember my good friend Tom?
Yes.
And he was over here hanging out. I don't know who that was. You can tell him I said hi.
Huh?
Whoever that was, you can tell him I said hi. Tell him they're in Podcastland.
I opened the door for Rio to come. The dogs are like wanting to come in and out of the door, but I can hear Rio scratching, so I opened it.
Good job. Rio's in now, right? He's out or in?
Yes, and now Lucy wants in, but if they come in, then they might fight. I don't know.
Okay, well, let's do the best we can. If it happens, let's get the camera out and see who wins.
Yeah, it gets vicious. Typically, it's Lucy.
But it was really cool. It was really cool because we were talking, and I was telling him about Disneyland, right? And you know how we all get when someone brings up Disneyland.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if it's somebody that you're talking to about Disneyland, someone that's willing to hear you, right? I don't do it to just everybody. I probably do it to everybody, but I felt like Tom and his wife were willing to hear me, and he's never been, right? So I'm like, wow, I've never been. So I feel like I have to somehow
wait, time out. He has never been to Disneyland
or Disney World. So
it like breaks my heart.
Yeah, but it's cool because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we got to go, right? I'm like, yeah. You're like,
you want to be his host, his guide.
I want to be the guy because I want to see how much joy I can pump into him in that 24-hour or however long we're there, right? Like you are gonna be so happy, You
want to dress up. You want to dress up like the guided tours, like the private guide tours. Disneyland has, like, you want to steal one of those costumes or like cast members
exactly
and be his like personal guy.
Yes. How do I create that? How do I create this magic? Right? Like you don't even understand the magic, right? You're right. I want to suit up in Mickey's suit and go perform Fantasmic from beginning to end, right? All 22 fantastic minutes of it.
I want to sprinkle some fairy dust on him, like before he goes on to Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Let me show you this magic.
Exactly. So you understand. You're already doing it. You're already doing it, right? It's oozing out of you. You can't control it. We're freaks
goosebumps right now. I have goosebumps. Yeah,
we're freaks. So I'm talking to him about this, right? And I've known him for I think 7, going on 8 years now. I think going on 8, however long I've been in Texas. He was one of my first friends when I moved here, and he's a great guy. So, and Tom. Mm-hmm. So I'm I'm doing my thing. I'm telling him all about Disneyland. Probably, he hasn't gotten a word in for 30 minutes at this point, right? And I'm just kind of telling him. And Tom, finally, and he's listening. He's a great listener. I love Tom. If you listen to this episode, Tom, just know I freaking love you, man.
If he's listening to this episode, he is a great listener.
Well, I just love him. I love being able to hang out with him, and he's just a huge blessing to me. So anyways, he finally somehow got a word in, right? I think I had to take a breath.
and he was like, "Shut up!" No.
Calm down. I was waiting for him. It would have been justified, right? But he kind of just stops me somehow, and he looks at me and he goes, "You know what? I think I just figured you out." And so immediately I'm freaking out, right? Because I realize in that moment that I'm 36 years old and I still haven't figured myself out. And so now I'm like, super anxious and excited about what he is going to say next, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, like he's figured me out. Like, this is it. This is the moment, right? And then Tom said, "You want to give everyone the Disney experience."
Yep.
And I was like, ding, 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 right? Like, never in my life has anybody put it more accurate than what he said. And in my mind, I'm going, how come I've never connected those dots? Because what he said spans and touches, so many different parts of my life. It's not just the Disney experience. And I know that's not what he meant. He meant it as the Disney experience, it in anything, right? If I'm taking you to go to play RC cars with me, I want to give you Disney level world-class happiness and joy. And you and I know that really Disney's the only, when you do something that way, it's only something that Disney can do. Nobody else can pull that off, right? At least if you're like us, if you're a big fan.
Yeah.
And this guy nailed it. And I'm like, you know what, Tom? I'm like, I've never thought about it that way. I'm like, but that's exactly what I want to do, like in life in general, right? If you're hanging out with us on our street, I want everyone to have the Disney experience. I sound like a total nerd right now, but it's true. And it was cool. It was cool to hear that from him. I felt just like, wow, man, that freaking hit home with me. And so I don't know, it's weird. It's having that now as part of my perspective. It's kind of cool because I'm able to quickly remember what's important to me. Right? Especially if I'm up against fear, which we're all always going to face constantly, right? We never get to just defeat fear and it just stays behind us. It's always there, and we just get better at fighting it, right? We get better at overcoming it. And now having that and just being able to identify with that, it's a nice reminder for me when fear does show up, and I'm like, man, I'm not going to do whatever it is, right? Because I'm not enough. Right? I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. My videos on YouTube aren't good enough. My podcast isn't good enough, right? You start thinking stuff like that. You're like, you don't want to do it. But then when I remember why I want to do it, right?
Yeah.
Why do I want to do it? It's not just because, yes, I enjoy it and it's going to be awesome. But to Tom's point, I want to give everybody else the Disney experience. I want other people to experience the joys that I've experienced. I want other people to come out of the trenches that I was in with, depression and anxiety. I want other people to get better at winning those bouts, right? And so when I think about that, I go, okay, I don't give a crap whatever fear is telling me, right? All I really care about is that. And it's super cool, that Tom shared that with me, and I'm able to use that now. It's awesome. So
I think that's so crazy that you bring that up, because now that's actually connected a lot of things for me.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Epiphany.
Like even if it was when I was working with Smile Direct Club, still jealous I'm not in the club, but when I was working with them, a lot of you get to meet other managers and other, they call them Smile guides. We met so many different people, and it was crazy to me to kind of see somebody who did, instead of saying Disney experience, I'm going to say Disney magic. They didn't have that magic, right?
Right.
So for me, it was like, why aren't these people excited? Like something's going on. There's a connection that's lost here. Like you guys should be so excited. Like you're actually help changing people's lives with
Yes.
like some cheap Invisaligns, not cheap like material wise, but cheaper price point, right?
Yeah.
And
Changed mine.
it was crazy to me that I would see some people and they'd be like, oh gosh, I gotta fly out on a Sunday night, and hearing them talking stuff. But like I think because I came from like the shop levels going into different roles in the company, they never got to see that side, that side of the magic of like, or where the magic happened. And so I would tell stories to like coworkers when I was when I ended up moving from the sales side into like the field. And I told them all the time, I was like, I mean, I could tell you some experiences that was really sad and that kind of hit home for me. But there was a woman who she had stage 4 cancer, and she was, and this is going to be eerie. She was 42 years old, same as mom, and
Yep.
her husband had no clue, like her family had no clue she was there. And she said, she was like, if I die, she was like, I want to die just having a nice smile.
Wow.
And like,
oh my gosh.
right?
That's deep.
So I'll never forget that moment. There's also like so many more other moments of like kids coming in and like just hearing them like, oh yeah, I get bullied at school. Like I'm 16 years old and I don't have straight teeth. And it's like, it's not their fault. It's like, maybe it was a money restraint kind of thing going on within the household and family. The parents weren't able to do it. So that's what kind of like I would tell those experiences to get people like hyped up and being like, oh yeah, actually I love doing what I do now. There's a purpose to it. It's not just me going in there and doing this. There's a reason behind it,
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's the right perspective to have.
Yeah, like in any job, I think I've always wanted to, not just job, but like just an everyday. I remember during high school, every year, so many people forgot my birthday, but I didn't really care about that. I always just wanted to make their birthdays like the best. So I would always bake people cakes and go to the store and buy balloons and like do these crazy things all the time because I wanted to make sure that like on their birthday, they felt the magic.
You wanted the Disney magic. Yeah. You wanted them to, yeah. And we still want that. And I think a lot of people want that. I think, there's probably a lot of people that I think can relate to that. And I think there's a lot of people that want that struggle with it too, right? That like I have for so long, you want to help people, but you're so messed up. It's hard. Yeah. You can't help anybody when you're all jacked up, right? It makes it really tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But man, so cool. So you were going to talk about something else. I forgot what it was when we were chatting before we got here to Podcastland. I forgot what it was.
How we always get crazy.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, I think we already talked about that. Right on.
Crazy hustle bustle of life.
Oh, it's rough. I'm so glad I got tomorrow off.
Did you? This is how much Nick and I have not talked, guys. Did you launch the blog?
Oh yeah, I did. It's only got one on there. It's not very. I'm actually trying to work on my self-deprecating talk.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah, it's like there. I just haven't. So here's my problem with writing. It's never good enough, right? Like, again, it's the stupid.
You reread it.
Stupid BS. Yeah, and that's what I do, right? It takes me forever.
Yep. You look at it and you're like, yeah, that sounds good. And then you like type some more and then you reread it and you're like, actually, no, that doesn't sound good. I got to change it.
And so I don't, and I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing. I think that's good to some extent, right? Because you're trying to make sure that what your people are reading is like simple to read. And I struggle with that. I'm like over too much and I'm like over detail on stuff. And right, I understand there's just like so many things wrong with it. But getting back to what we talked about earlier, I love it. I enjoy it, right? It's a nice outlet for me. And the possibility, the fact that there's the possibility that me doing it could actually help somebody, that's like the coolest, right? It's like, well, that would be the ultimate. So I'm going to do it anyway. But what I think is going to be cool is I hope that it gets better, right, over the years. Because honestly, I write all the time. I always write, right? I'm journaling, and that's the same thing, right? But it's different when I'm journaling. So, because I can just say whatever I want, and nothing really matters, right? But I've blogged before, did little stints of it here and there. But I think it's cool. I'm enjoying it. I have written a lot more. I just haven't posted anything. So I just did that one, and then I struggle with that. I struggle with, just like everybody else, the approval rating. I struggle with that. But like I just said, when I'm able to
say, I'm going to cut you off. When you say approval rating, it's not so much of like your audience; it's your own personal approval rating.
Right, and that's something I'm working on. Right, I think there's a lot of people out there that struggle with it. I tell myself there's other people that struggle with it, but
I know I do.
I think there's others that struggle with that, and I think it's normal. I think it's I think it's okay too. Right, I think it's okay. But what's not okay is when I crumble to it. Right, so it's good. It's awesome. That's what I like about it, right? That's what I enjoy about it, is that it's not just a simple thing for me to do. I'm sure there's some people out there that, just very gifted and talented. It's probably easy for them, but I think most people that are successful at anything, they grinded it out. They went through the years of learning and growing, and,
yeah,
and if I'm going to do those things, I want to do it doing things I love. And
you got to start somewhere. It's not
That's
like,
right.
Your first blog entry is going to be perfect. You got to just keep doing it until, you start to learn.
Now, you're breaking up, but I don't know if it's coming through on the podcast. We'll find out when we play it back. Maybe I'm crazy, but it's weird how much you're breaking up.
Am I still breaking up? Caca.
No, you're good right now, but you were just way bad. And it looks like, because I'm looking at the little sound waves, it looks like it's not going to be there in the podcast, but
so now it's
okay. It'll make it more exciting. I don't know. It's got to be. It doesn't sound like your mic's. I don't know. I mean, your mic's never really done that before.
Maybe it's the internet. I am in a different location because
maybe that's it. It's got to be your internet. That would make sense. Okay, that would make sense.
I'm watching a puppy over here, so
yeah, can't hear you. But
take it away, Nick. You have the next 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah. See, that came in crystal clear. Could hear you just fine. Right? The struggles of being in podcast land. It's all good.
So normally, guys, we work out the kinks prior to, but obviously you understood the issues of getting into podcast land and how excited, enthusiastic we were to finally hit the record button and get in there. So.
Well, let's be honest. You were I was like, okay, we're in, and then you were like, okay, let's do a test 1, 2. You said me, and I said I'm recording in 3, 2, 1, and that was it.
Yeah, my turkey gobble. I don't do a test 1, 1, 2. I just go, or I'll sing. I'll sing sometimes.
Yeah.
Speaking of singing, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
You're breaking up so bad.
Happy birthday, dear Emma. Is it bad?
Way major peaking, big league. But keep it going. You're on a roll. Keep it going now. Keep it going now.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, breaking up on that part too. So it sounded cooler than usual, I think. I think it sounded cooler with the breakups.
So if anybody didn't get that, it was Emma's birthday yesterday.
Whose birthday?
Emma. Oh, dogs.
Emma's birthday. I'm helping the people out. Because I know y'all can't hear Audrey. Emma is my daughter. She turned 9. Happy birthday, Emma. She is my princess forever and always.
She's a sweet baby girl with a I don't want to say the adult word, but she has a face and eyes that can look into your soul. I can't wait till she grows up. I can't wait to see her as a teenager.
All right.
It's gonna be great.
I'm gonna save the listeners because it's so bad we can't hear you at all. I think it's getting worse. So I'm going to save everybody here. We're at about 30 minutes. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Any shout outs that you want to make, Audrey, you can do via Instagram. Appreciate all of our listeners. Seriously, we love you so much. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Podcastland. We can't wait to do it again with you guys. And wherever you are right now, we just hope that you're well, hope that you're safe. If you're struggling right now and you just need someone to chat with, hit us up, message us. We're praying for you. And Audrey, any last words that you want to attempt to squeeze in through the crackles and pops of your resistance there?
Can you hear me now, or is it still?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
I feel like we were on the very. Okay, we're done. Bye.
Gotta love internet. All right. We love y'all. We love y'all big time. So we'll catch y'all on the next one. This was episode 26. 26 in the books. We'll do better next time on the sound, maybe. But we love you guys. Peace.
Bye.